The October 18th meeting of the Eden Prairie City Council will now come to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Prior to the start of our City Council meetings, we give Eden Prairie residents the opportunity to address the Council on issues related to Eden Prairie City government. If you are interested in speaking to the Council at those meetings, please contact the City Manager's office at 952-949-8412 by noon Tuesday of the meeting date with your name and your phone number and the issue you'd like to discuss. If time permits, after those speakers are finished, we open the floor to unscheduled speakers. Open podium is not recorded or televised, however. If you have any questions about it, please contact the City Manager's office. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Move approval.
Second.
Any items to add or change? I'd just like to add one thing during reports of council members, but it'll be very brief. Okay, all in favor of the agenda? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the council workshop held Tuesday, October 4th?
So moved.
Second.
Any items to correct? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Motion passes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the city council meeting held the same evening?
Move approval. Second.
Any items to correct with those minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Is there a motion for approval of the consent calendar?
Move approval of items A through J on the consent calendar.
Second.
Any items to pull for discussion? Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
That brings us to our first public hearing, which is a resolution approving special assessments. Mr. Getchell.
Mayor and City Council, on an annual basis, we have a public hearing and a resolution to approve miscellaneous special assessments that are throughout the year. So in this case, we have identified a list of supplemental assessments totaling $407,000. That's a higher number than normal. The vast majority in this case of the assessments are due to our trail project through Bear Path, as you're well aware of. So that makes up 80% of that figure. But we do have some assessments as well for trunk and lateral utility assessments and other contracted removal assessments that we have throughout the year. The council established the amount to be assessed at your regular council meeting of September 20th, and the exhibit listing all the supplementals are included in the packet, and notice of this public hearing was published in the September 29th, 2011 Eden Prairie News.
Thank you. Any questions of Mr. Getchell? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the audience that wants to address the council on special assessments?
Seeing none, I would move to close the public hearing, and I would move for approval of the 2011 special assessments and adopt the resolution approving all special assessments.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Our second public hearing is a resolution relating to proposed refunding. Mr. Getchell.
Mayor and City Council, tonight we have a public hearing for refunding of city general obligation bonds. In this case, it's a public hearing due to the fact that the bonds that we're discussing refunding are related to our community center, and we have some naming rights with our community center. So typically you wouldn't always need a public hearing on a refunding, but in this case, because we have naming rights tied to the community center, we need to have a public hearing. In this case, we're looking at the refunding of two sets of bonds for potential savings depending on the interest rate, what happens with the interest rate, of $370,000 in debt savings. At our November 15th meeting, you would consider the actual award of sale for the refunding. Tonight, again, is a public hearing and setting the date for that. So again, by resolution adopted on September 20th, council meeting called for a public hearing for the approval of the bonds, the Series 2005C and 2006 A bonds to be issued in part and to refinance a portion of the improvements to the city's community center at 16700 Valley View Road. And the project is expected to be used by the general public, the city, and is qualified under 501c3 organizations. So again, a public hearing and then a resolution approving the refunding.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Getchell? Ms. Nelson?
This doesn't affect the naming rights, however. Correct?
This does not have any effect on the naming rights. It's just we need a public hearing for the refunding.
It makes a lot of sense to pay less interest if we possibly can.
We're all for that.
That's right. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the audience that wants to address the council on this resolution? Okay. Is there a motion?
Seeing none, I would move to close the public hearing and adopt the resolution relating to a proposed refunding, giving approval to refunding of city's general obligation bonds, Series 2005C, and general obligation bonds, Series 2006A.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
A motion passes. That brings us to payment of claims. Are there any items to question in that list? If not, is there a motion?
Move approval, payment of claims.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Aho,
Aye.
Councilmember Case,
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson,
Aye.
Mayor Terralukens.
Aye. Thank you. Reports of council members. Under that, I had added myself. I wanted to mention the fact that last Wednesday I had the opportunity, the honor of presenting an award to Southwest Transit at the Minnesota Public Transit Association meeting. They won an annual award for, I'm trying to remember how it was awarded, innovation. It was called an innovation award. And they won the award for their park out proposal, or their park out project. And what that is when buses go downtown in the morning during rush hour and drop off that last group of riders, traditionally they've turned around and come back to the suburbs here with nobody on, basically wasting gas. So what they decided to do was to park buses downtown. We parked for a certain amount of time, a year or so, wasn't it, Rick, at the state fairgrounds, and then we started parking at the Metrodome, and we just shuttle the drivers back and forth. That way we are able to shuttle the drivers back downtown. They get in their buses in the afternoon and then start taking people back to the suburbs in the evening. So it really cuts down on two deadhead, we call them deadhead rides. And it has ended up saving Southwest Transit about $165,000 a year in fuel costs. So it's a great money saver. So our operations team is the actual group from Southwest Transit that won that award, and it was a nice award for them to get. Yes?
I would just note I look at those buses every morning when I get on the elevator from my condo.
Oh, you do?
They look right out onto that, over several blocks to that parking lot. And last week when I got I take the bus occasionally when I don't have to be out here. And I was waiting, and a Minnesota Valley bus pulled up and doesn't normally stop. It stopped to let me on. It was coming from the university.
Oh.
I was the only one on it, and it was on its way to Burnsville.
Oh, interesting.
Picked up one other customer who the driver said she always picks up, and went back to Burnsville with one customer. So that is a great program that Southwest has.
It saved us a lot. Okay, is there anything else anybody wants to add? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move adjournment.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, meeting adjourned.